John Deere says it's moving some of its production to Mexico, according to an email that was sent to Waterloo employees.
We all feel it over here. Everybody on the wage side feels the theft. They feel our money going away.
If you're thinking of moving production abroad, be prepared. There could be big costs. Former President Trump has threatened a massive 200% tariff on John Deere equipment produced outside the US, after news emerged that Deere plans to move some production to Mexico. For people in places like Waterloo, Iowa, that news hit hard. Workers there felt the impact immediately: lost hours, rising anxiety, and an unmistakable sense of being left behind. Tariffs. These clear movement essential on Deere. Imagine non-tractor suddenly costing $40,000 more overnight. For farmers, that isn't hypothetical anymore. When Deere confirmed it would shift some manufacturing to Mexico, Trump's tariff threat quickly followed. Dealers reported price hikes right away, orders were cancelled, entire rural towns felt the shock as supply chains stalled and uncertainty spread. Tariffs look. So for what began as a corporate decision about where to build tractors, became an economic earthquake for small towns. Machinery prices jumped beyond many farmers' reach, pushing already strained local economies into crisis. Small and mid-sized farms faced a brutal choice: hold off on replacing aging equipment or take on crushing debt. Within that cost on the eaching farmers a gorble. The most 25-day is cast but recognized to trying to stop. Experts estimate that a 200% tariff on imported Deere machinery could push prices up by 15 to 22% in just a year. For farmers in Iowa, Nebraska, and Kansas, that could mean an extra $30,000 to $50,000 for a single new machine. Many can't afford that, except during these stuff. That's I think it was NOFA. Nearly 40% of farmers under 45 said they would delay equipment purchases if costs rise another 20%. Try to get farmers right now. While farmers crazing we 44. Law going clear. Clear with the farmers and chances. Joption the camera, day per poise on have to develop them. After sound, Ashley Moon to portion to farmers careful. For me mostly 2,000 tases in ire, the make sort. This point it farmers always important. The most if you den you to do more rights in that cost from importer. Soft as done, they were important detailed and in the right band. In wet they repoist anything ca rising 20%. It's not just fine suffer. When a farmer puts off buying a new tractor, the local dealership loses sales, showrooms go empty, mechanics have fewer repairs, the ripple effects close shops and kill jobs in communities that depend on seasonal farm spending. This shock doesn't stop at the farm gate. It shows up in grocery stores and on kitchen tables. Even further, by foreign retaliation. China and Brazil imposed new barriers on US agricultural exports, cutting soybean shipments by over 20% in 2025. Now farmers face a devastating equation: pay tens of thousands more for equipment while earning less for their crops. While imposing costs nearly 4 times higher than the benefits. Instead of protecting jobs, tariffs often act as a hidden tax on American consumers, making everything more expensive and distorting markets. One analyst summed it up, quote, "We're sacrificing farmers and consumers for the illusion of an old manufacturing economy that doesn't really exist anymore." Every time this policy cycle repeats, prices go up, trust erodes, and more people fall through the cracks. Not because they failed, but because the system never gave them a fair shot. Deere didn't move production to Mexico to betray American workers. It moved because the economics pushed it there. So maybe the real question isn't how to protect old jobs, but how to make sure people aren't left behind as the world changes. If that question feels uncomfortable, good. It's meant to. Because this isn't just a policy debate, it's about deciding what kind of country we want to be. Before the next factory closes or the next farm goes under. What do you think? If this story resonates with you, share it. Someone else needs to hear.
Notifying John Deere right now. If you do that, we're putting a 200% tariff on everything that you want to sell into the United States, so that if I win, John Deere is going to be paying a 200%.
John Deere says it's moving some of its production to Mexico, according to an email that was sent to Waterloo employees.
We all feel it over here. Everybody on the wage side feels the theft. They feel our money going away.
Put it, we're sacrificing consumers and farmers to preserve a fantasy of old-school manufacturing that no longer exists. And as this policy pattern repeats, one thing becomes clear. It's not just the math that's broken, it's the story we keep telling ourselves.